Welcome and thank you for tuning into my podcast. Today I have with me Imogen van Haagen, and I did it right.
Yeah, you did.
So happy. Thank you very much for joining me. And why I invite you, I actually tried all what you do, and I would like to talk about it later. And I think that's amazing stuff that you brought into Australia in Perth. And I know you're a successful business owner and you're an amazing woman, you're beautiful, smart. And I think, just have all these as a package. I just want to know how you do it. What is your background? Where did you come from? And also, I would love people to know more about you and and try to do your stuff, what you offer, because I think it's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming. And yeah, if you can, Imogen, tell us a little bit more about you, because I know you have interesting story, and I think it's always nice to share. And I would like to know more as well, because I know a little bit, but not everything. That is, where are you from? Because the name, it's probably somewhere in Europe. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm married to a Dutchman, and I guess I'll start from the beginning, and I'll get to that part
Yeah.
shortly. But I actually come from I'm born and raised in Perth, and I have 12 brothers and sisters, so I have a very big family. And I grew up in one house with 8 boys and me. And yeah,
That's definitely a big family.
very big family. People ask me, how did you do that? I'm like, well, they were all actually incredible brothers. So
And are you almost like same age, or is a huge difference between you?
the youngest is 23 and the oldest is 51.
Okay, that's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm 32, so I am
You're
number
middle.
11. Yeah. We number ourselves.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
But look, I have to say, we didn't have the most stable upbringing. I lived in 30 houses before I was 14 years old and went to 5 different high schools because my parents moved around a lot. And I actually moved out of home at the age of 14. I moved from from Perth to Brisbane to live with one of my older brothers. And I remember from a really young age searching for balance in my life and stability. And, as you can imagine, going to so many different high schools, being pulled from one to the next, it can really cause you to have low self-esteem and self-confidence issues. And, back then going through adolescence, I really struggled.
Yeah. But on the other hand, on the other hand, you probably build really, really strong resilience and agility, like the adaptation has to be really strong. Like you,
100%.
yeah.
And people ask me, how are you so resilient? How does not much phase you? How can you just bounce back and just see every problem or challenge as an opportunity? I'm like, well, I've been through a heck of a lot in my life. That's why. And I've turned my youth and my upbringing into my superpower.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so at the age of 19, I actually started my self-development journey because, as I mentioned, I was always interested in improving myself and developing myself, but I didn't know necessarily how until I was introduced to self-development at that age. And, I did this course that went for 3 days, and I went in this very mousy, insecure, young girl, right, who didn't have a voice. And I came out the other side completely unstoppable. I had just transformed my relationships in my life that were holding me back ultimately, but most of all, the relationship that I had with myself.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that's very, very, all of us should start with relationship with ourselves. I think that's most important. And I love that. Like you actually came inside with no voice, and that's what all we don't have voice, when we are young, we don't know, and everyone has that struggle. I think it's very much talking to broad audience, that when we are young and if we are looking for like who we are, what we want, we really have low self-esteem usually, because you don't know like what's next.
No, that's it. And, I was living my life trying to make everybody around me proud, right? But I was not proud of myself.
Yeah.
And after that, doing that course, I came out being so proud of myself and really stepping into being proud of myself, and just celebrating every small win that I achieved in life. And that's how I stepped into adulthood.
That's beautiful. And I would like to point it out that because I think that's very important what you just said, that we are forgetting celebrate wins. We don't see that because we are the biggest critic of ourselves. Like we always criticize everything what we do.
That's it. Yeah, exactly right. We're constantly looking at what the things that we did wrong, and how we and really just not stepping back and acknowledging the really small steps, right, that we take to ultimately reach the goals and get success in our life. And most people are also just so focused on that end goal, right, that they don't even stop to smell the roses and really just just recognize
Smell the roses. I love that. And that's so right. Like people just this is just such a great message because people really focus on goals and they forget to enjoy the journey, enjoy everything, like who they meet on the way, what conversations they have, what is happening in their family, like all these small things. People can be just like so focused on one thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and looking back at it now, all of those things that I went through and that I overcame during adolescence, right, they are the reasons why I am so resilient today. And also why I'm such a successful business owner and I'm a go-getter. And because you could almost say that is success, right? But it's because of all of those small things and those small challenges that just really created this.
Yeah, and definitely, because I think the resilience and to be able to adapt, and respond really fast to any change that is happening in your business or life. I think that's the most important attributes we should have, or like every business owner should have, because there is no chance that your business will go smoothly ever. That's just no. And if you have that life that most kids actually now have, what is really sad, that parents taking care of them so much, just trying to like not move the houses, be all the time around them and keep them safe. It's actually building opposite, not resilience, but it's actually building the behavior that when something will happen when they are 18 or 90 or 20, that something will happen, they will just react and they will probably have some mental issues, mental problems, because they don't know what to do.
It's that, it really is at the forefront of my mind being a mum, that I think, how can I give Eleanor the same lessons that I have in terms of resilience, right, without giving her the trauma, but still giving her, because children still need stress in their life, right? They need to learn how to overcome it, because how are they going to do that? How are they going to, naturally be able to do that when they become adults?
Exactly. And that's just such an amazing, I would say, the way of parenting. And I love that about you, because I think it's so important to get kids, they can get injured, they can get hurt. It's fine, because now they can kind of, stand up, wake up, and they're fine, they just shake it off and they can continue, because that's what you did basically, that you had to adapt, you had to do it. You can't just, stay and cry and be stuck somewhere. You just had to you had to go to different school and have new friends all the time. And I think that's, I honestly, that's just what I think is best way to raise your kids, to really give them taste of everything, because they will be amazing adults.
And I have to say, going back when I did go to those 5 different high schools and, going to one for 3 months, and because my parents moved, then I went to another one. And then at the time, it was really tough, right? It was a real struggle on me. And also because at that age, you're just trying to find your identity. It's such an awkward time in your life. And, but looking back at it now, it's turned me into a chameleon. I can walk into a room of people and just talk to anyone, get curious about anything, because I was forced to do that. And, you know, something that I really stand by in life is trade judgment for curiosity, because you can't be judgmental if you're being curious. And, you know, when you're curious, that's when you know, get to know people better. It's when you share connection. It's when you build relationships. And so that's, you know, probably the biggest thing that I got, the big lesson I got out of that.
That's awesome. That's actually great, because I have my program Quantum Leap is actually first week is, you know what, take it easy. Just watch yourself when you judge and compare yourself to someone else or something else.
Yeah.
And it's just such a big thing. People are like, oh my gosh, like we are actually judging all the time. And, you know, you judge better, you judge people, you judge yourself all the time. You look at yourself and you say like, oh, this is not good. I don't like this. I don't like that. And there's judgment every day. That means it's really good. And I love that. Exchange that for curiosity.
Yeah.
Important. Awesome.
Definitely.
Do you plan to have 15, 20 kids or?
I would love to, but I also plan on, you know, traveling back to Europe to see my family once a year, and that's a pretty expensive exercise every time if I would want to do that. But yeah, I do want to have more kids, and you know, I think it's really nice. You know, I actually have 25 nieces and nephews, so at 32,
I'm really jealous.
Yeah,
that's so cool. I have like 2 and I really want more.
Yeah, it's the best to have a big family. You know, in a couple of weeks we're going on a camping trip with, you know, half of the family, and we've got a big convoy of caravans going all the way up the west coast of Australia.
It's just bus, the biggest bus,
literally like a circus.
That's so good.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, you did ask me, you know, how I got into 20Fit, and I actually, after I did that course that I was telling you about, I booked a one-way ticket to Amsterdam 2 months later. And Amsterdam, because I have Dutch roots, my dad is Dutch, and he was born there, but grew up in Australia.
Yeah.
And I moved to Amsterdam after booking my ticket. I actually met a Dutch guy in Perth, and he was from Amsterdam, and it was just meant to be. We spent 3 days together. I was like, I already have a one-way ticket booked there. And we spent 3 days together, and then 3 months later I was there, and we started living together straight away. And we've been together 12 years and married for 7. So
awesome. That's like, yeah, we know this is it.
Exactly.
That's actually funny how that happens sometimes, because I met my friend, my partner as well that way. Like I was actually just leaving Thailand after 3 years living there, and I was like, I just bought a ticket, I just sold my business, I'm moving back. And I was like, now I had like 2 weeks of best dating time, and I was like, this is wrong. Yeah. It's so funny how how life is going around that. Like it's just always making that another challenge.
Exactly. And it's, you know, I thoroughly believe in you, when you put something out there into the universe, all the opportunities open up, right? And that's exactly what happened in that situation, just by booking that one ticket.
And you stay in Amsterdam. How long have you been living there? Or what?
I actually lived there for 8 years.
Okay.
And I fell into the recruitment industry really young, and started working for this British company and a global recruitment company as a recruitment assistant, and discovered pretty quickly that I was really good at the job, mainly because I was very good with people and analyzing people, and I was just very curious and interested, right? So great at recruiting people. And then I grew pretty quickly within the organization. I moved up to recruiter and then senior recruiter. And within my 3rd year, I was managing a team across a global team, and in the executive search part, heading up the oil and gas division of the company. And I was, you know, top biller across 100 employees for a number of years, and really just built this, you know, big life for myself. But I have to say, although I was very good at the job, and I did that for about 6-7 years, and it really started to take a toll on my health, because I was working 50, 60 hours a week. You know, it's a work hard, play hard kind of environment. I was traveling extensively. One week I would be in Paris or Spain or Manchester, and the next I'd be in Abu Dhabi or Houston. So it was, it sounds glamorous, but it was not, because
It is not.
no, you fly in, you fly out. You fly in for a meeting, you do go to the meeting, then you fly back out again. And these are, long trips.
I experienced that, and I absolutely know what you're talking about, because I was a few years in a company that I was traveling around Europe, because I had teams in different countries. And it's just so, like, it's fun, it's great.
Yeah.
But after a while, you're like, I just want to stay like at home, like for like 3-5 days, like 1 week or 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. Just not moving around all the time. Yeah.
It really takes a toll on you. And, at a certain point, your health does get put to the side, because, you're rushing from A to B, you're moving at warp speed. When do you find time to fit in exercise? You're often eating at airport, hotel food.
That's the worst part of that. Like, even in hotel, like I was able to go for a run quickly, or when hotel had like pool, I remember I was like, yes, I can go to pool, or I can do something like at least evening or super early morning. But after that, you have exactly hotel or plane food, and it was like, oh no, that's just so unhealthy.
Yeah, exactly. And one day I was riding my bike through the city of Amsterdam, and I came across this little studio, right? And it said on the window, a 3-hour workout in 20 minutes. And I was like, I was like, how is that possible? First of all, surely it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And, at the time, I have to say, my health took a massive turn. Because I was so overworked and overly stressed, I started to lose a lot of weight, even though, I was still, eating as normal. I lost a dramatic amount of weight. I had this constant upper back tension that just would not go away, no matter how many physios, massage therapists I saw. It was like, this kind of stabbing pain in my back just constantly. And really impacted my sleep. So I wasn't sleeping well. I had achy joints, and the stress was manifesting in my body. But I thought it was more than that. And, I thought, that I was actually getting sick, and, maybe I had cancer or something like that, like all these thoughts were popping into my head, because that's how bad it was. And so I ended up undergoing a series of tests over a course of months with doctors and hospital visits, and, and it just came down to, like, they couldn't find anything that was wrong with me. It came down to how I was living my lifestyle, that I was living this kind of all or nothing kind of lifestyle, this extremist, not taking care of myself. And the stress was simply manifesting in my body.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I know exactly the feeling.
Yeah. And I was completely out of balance, right? There was no balance in my life. And in that moment when the doctors said, you just need to change your lifestyle, I agreed with them. And, I decided I was going to give up working in this job. I was earning so much money, but you couldn't pay me any more to stay in the job. That's how fed up I was. And that I just didn't want to feel that way anymore, And so my husband and I, we decided that, he would sell his business in Amsterdam, and I was going to step out of what I was doing, but there was still a 2-year overlap of doing that, because it's a big process relocating countries. And we decided that we were going to relocate to Australia and just change our lifestyle. And during that 2-year process, I was searching for something, and I was searching, what can I do with my life? What am I passionate about? I know I'm very good at sales, obviously, given the last 7 years, but it's not my passion, right? And my passion is with people. I've always been passionate about health and fitness and nutrition, and then I came across this little studio, right? And I stepped in there and I thought, well, heck, I'm going to give this a go. I was so nervous, right? Because it's like electro muscle stimulation.
I was nervous at your studio.
Yeah. Of course, you're like, oh my God, are they going to electrocute me? Like, am I going to come out of here alive? Yeah.
I was so scared. I know what you're talking about. I was like, no, just don't study it. No, I'm not prepared.
Yeah. But do you remember your first session so well? I do.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about yours.
Yeah. Well, mine was, going on 8 years ago now. And I remember when they, started turning the machine on, I was like, oh my God, this is a really strange sensation. It didn't hurt. Okay. So that part of me was put at ease because I thought it was going to hurt, but it didn't. And then, as the workout went on, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, I started to get used to the sensation. And because I didn't have hours to spend in the gym, right, I became more and more, as the minutes went in, I was like, wow, I could just feel muscles activating in my back, in my glutes, around my core that I just had not felt in a really, really long time. And by the end of the 20 minutes, my mind was blown. I was dripping with sweat. I felt like I'd spent 3 hours in the gym, but it was only 20 minutes. And the next day, remember that upper back tension I told you about?
Yeah.
Well, the next day I was on my bike and it occurred to me that upper back tension was gone. I had it for 2 years and it was like, it was just disappeared. And I was like, oh my God, that was because of that session. It had released all of that stress tension in my back. And, I guess because I had all these muscular imbalances from not activating those muscles, it had activated them. And, all my brain was sending signals down to muscles again, or had woken them up. I don't know, right? But it was gone and I was flabbergasted. And my husband at the time, he owned a real estate company. So he did a lot of sitting behind his computer, behind, in the car, doing tours, that kind of thing. And he had chronic back issues. So every time he'd bend over to pick something up, he'd put his back out, because what his problem was, he actually could not activate his glute muscles. So his brain just wasn't sending signals down to those muscles anymore. So every time he'd pick something up, he'd use his lower back.
Just going.
And
I saw actually young people doing that, and I was like, oh my God, like when I see people, it's almost sad, because you can see young person and it's going to, down the way. That is like, oh, that's like old person. It's like, like you have really you struggle. Like I saw that, like when people do it, it's like, oh, they need exercise.
Definitely. And, because it's called sitting disease, right? We sit on the couch, we sit on the car, we sit behind our desks, right? And, the majority of the population just don't move enough, right?
Sorry, I was just going to say that you're so right, because like I was sitting last year when I started the business and really, really started to work hard. And that this is last few days, or it's only a few days that I exchanged everything. I threw away my chair and everything, and I just put a standing table up, and I'm standing last few days, and everything changed in my body. It's just like, it's absolutely amazing. Like that's right. Like I believe that is this sitting disease. Like that's horrible, especially for back.
Oh, especially for your back. And, as we get older, it's even more important to keep those muscles active. And I see it all the time, Alex, and anyway, so, my husband, he would go to physio and chiro appointments, and that's what they would say to him. You just can't, he literally couldn't contract his glutes, right? They were dead. And 2 sessions it took. So I took him along with me. I was like, you've got to try this. It's amazing. And after the second session, he felt his glutes fire up in a way that he had not felt in a really long time. And I can honestly say, ever since that day, he has not had a back issue since.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I can imagine, because I tried your exercise. I tried that. That means I know exactly what it is. Like I felt the muscles that I didn't even know that I have.
No.
I'll be honest. And that was just so much. I was so much in so much pain, and I was like, there is muscle I never ever saw and felt, and like, is there muscle? I was like,
Right?
like
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like you almost feel like afterwards for a couple of days, like, have I hurt my back? And you're
Yeah.
like, no, it's just actually I've got DOMs in my back muscles.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so look, from that moment, I decided this is what I want to do. I knew that I was in
Yeah.
love with the product. I knew that I could bring it to Australia and, make a difference to people who were living the busy lifestyles that we had once lived, and who were also constrained by their circumstances and their environments. And, so many people put exercise on the back burner, or because they don't have time,
Yes.
or because, lots and lots of people are just too scared to go into a gym environment. Now, how intimidating are machines in a gym environment, or being around people with big muscles?
I know, but honestly, there was even for me, like when I was going to gym, but when I stopped and I had few months, big pause, and after that I had to go back. I was always thinking like, oh, I don't know, there will be some new machines. I don't even know how to use it. People will look at me like, like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing here. Like we always feel like we will be judged. It's really weird. And it is scary for anyone. That means I can imagine when a person is going first time to gym, that was my scary day. I know that.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah. And, you and I, we are exercise lovers.
Yeah.
And even I get that feeling, when I go to a new gym for the first time, it's so intimidating.
It is.
And then lots of people just don't take the leap. They just, don't take the step. And then they suffer for it, through back issues and a number of other things as well. But so I really just wanted to help that big chunk of people who were being constrained by their circumstances. And and then I brought it to Australia in 2016.
Yeah, amazing. Like I just love how you found out what you want to do, and you actually went to you started with, okay, what I'm passionate about, what I love to do, what I was always interested into, and I think that's so important to be in that area or be in your genius zone, or how other people call it, like just to really feel that you are aligned and you found a great mission, because that helped you and helped your husband. And I think that's the most important part, that you have experience, you find it as a perfect and awesome exercise that is helping you in a short time. And I can tell also, because the studio is so small and nice, it's very family, warm, and you don't need to feel bad, because you always have girls there, or if you are there, it's just always nice, and you feel welcomed. It's just like you take care of the person that is there, because it's not another 10 people. It's usually just 2 people exercising. That was when I was there, but it was great, and you can take friend if you feel a little bit awkward. You tell someone, come with me, and you have friends. And that means it's nothing to be scared of, only the pain.
And then it's fun to do it together. But the after DOMs for 72 hours afterwards, that's a little bit painful the first time. Your body does get used to it, but it's then you've worked hard, right?
No, I love it. I actually loved it. And it was fun, like first exercise was like, just like, I don't know what to do. But after that was like, you know what, actually, it's not that painful. It's actually good. Like when you actually start to feel it, like what muscles are working, and you focus on your muscles, I think that's the magic, like you can really feel like all your body really is working out. And you don't need to do any hard exercise. It's just, tell us more about that. That means 2016, you brought it into Australia and you started your 20 feet.
Yeah. So we actually started off as a mobile business when we were, it's a pretty funny story. And this is me, right? Just, I was 39 weeks pregnant when I started 20 Fit.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then
you were bored. It's like, I don't need to do something.
Well, I took a year off with Bob in between the relocation, right? And we basically packed all of our stuff into a sea container. sent it to Australia, and then we just decided we're going to go traveling for a year. And in that year, we wrote our business plan. We did all of our research just from, different locations. We spent 2 months in Thailand. We went back to Europe, and then on our trip in Australia, so we came to Australia, and then we bought a car and a rooftop tent, and we did a full circle, because I'd never done that before. I'd spent lots of time in Europe traveling, but never in my own country. And on that trip is when I actually fell pregnant. And it was not necessarily the intention, but when I kind of got to 30 weeks, I was like, oh, I should probably find a house, get a job, find some income. No, not get a job.
Parent.
Yeah, exactly. And we should probably go get 20 Fit set up now, because we've done all the planning, we've got the infrastructure there ready to go, and we had all of our equipment arriving, and then we actually landed in Perth, and we literally just pressed the button and hit go. And it was a great experience, and we were going out to companies doing corporate fitness, and Brown's Dairy was one of our first clients, and we would go out there and train their corporate teams, and 30 people in one hit, and it was great, and it kind of got us started. And then we found that we were doing these corporate programs, that people wanted to continue training with us after their 6 or 12 weeks was up, that the company was providing for. And so then we set up Vic Park in our 20 Fit studio in Victoria Park in the Wellness Collective building. And it's been going gangbusters ever since. And then we opened Nedlands in 2 years ago now. So we've had 2 studios now, and it's really, it's going great. And I have to say, just going back to something that you said at the beginning of the podcast about, resilience and being able to pivot with the challenges that you're hit with. Last week, actually, I got a phone call from my landlord in Nedlands saying that they were discontinuing our lease over there because they had to undergo a major
rude.
I know. I was like, what?
You can't do it.
Yeah, I know. But we've got a big community of people over there who we service, and we love our little studio over in Nedlands. That's where you came to.
Yeah.
But of course, I understand their position. They have to undergo a major renovation and take over the space that we're in.
Yeah.
And at first, I was, my initial response was, oh my God, I employ 4 staff over there. I have, close to 100 members over there. I have, like, are they going to, like, what's going to happen? Am I going to lose money?
Yeah.
And that's all this stuff starts going through your head, right? And I guess when you were, this is how I approach stress, right? Or stressful situations, because for the first couple of days, I was getting so caught up in those nitty gritty things, like, this is like, I was really scared, right?
You focus on the stress, you focus on the bad things that are happening, basically,
exactly.
And what bad can happen. It's just that old story, the negative story. Yeah,
exactly. And that gives you tunnel vision, then you can't see anything else but the bad things that could come from the situation. And then I stopped and I thought, what, this is not good for me. It's not good for my staff. It's not good for my clients. Take a step back, Imogen, and how do you want to be experiencing this situation instead? And then I would honestly answered myself, well, I want to be able to see the opportunity in this. I want to be able to inspire my clients to continue training with us, even if we don't have another studio over in Nedlands, and for them to come over to Vic Park in the meantime while we do find another studio. I want to be a leader from the front for my staff and make sure that they know that their jobs are okay.
Yeah.
And that's who I stepped into being. So I just changed my entire perspective. And then, do you know what happened? A whole world of opportunities opened up. Right? And then I could start seeing all of the good things that were coming from the situation, all the blessings that were in disguise.
And these amazing places where you can put your studio. I believe, you should come to Fremantle.
Yeah, well, that is on the cards. I'm not going to lie.
Awesome. I can help. I will definitely be happy to have a look about, because there's a lot of vacancies. I saw even on the street where I have office, it's really a lot. And I think Fremantle needs to fill up that space, because it's a touristic place, it's full place. There's a lot of people there. There's still more and more companies coming in, and I guess that corporate world is growing there. It's really, the community is getting bigger, especially businesses, and I think that will be a great place. There's a lot of nice spots.
I didn't know you lived in Fremantle. I live in Fremantle as well.
Yeah, I don't live. I have office in Fremantle. Because
Okay.
I always wanted to go to Fremantle, but this is not the right time probably to sell the house and buy the house. That means I don't want to really just do it because everybody's doing that right now, and it's a great opportunity, because the house here in this space, it didn't really go that much up or down. It's still okay. The price is not big difference. That means I don't want to just react like, oh, market now is reacting. I said, let's wait.
Yeah.
And we will move probably somewhere. I'm not sure where it will be, but Fremantle is I love it. Probably the most favorite suburb in Western Australia.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of clients who travel up from Fremantle up to our Netherlands studio. And, so this is kind of where I'm at right now. And we are really just also, our Vic Park facility has recently moved into a place called the Mind Body Lounge, and the Mind Body Lounge is the first wellness recovery centre of its kind in Australia. And so we are repositioning ourselves as the only EMS training company in Perth that offers recovery services. We have cryotherapy in there, infrared saunas, lymphatic drainage and compression pants, oxygen therapy, red light therapy. And this is all really great for reducing inflammation, muscle recovery. We have lots of clients who do their 20-fit session and then jump straight into a sauna or jump straight into a cryotherapy.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. And also because it's so short, 20 minutes exercise, you can actually do something else, what is amazing, because when you have usually gym, 1.5 hours, you don't have more time to do something else and actually calm yourself down and do that wellness more than just fitness. And I think that's great combination. That's awesome. Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's working really well. And I'm happy with, being able to, just take a step back and pivot and just look at all of the opportunities that are going to come my way now. And that's, where I currently am.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And look, thank you very much. I think for all what you share, I believe we had a lot of things to learn from you and from your journey, what I absolutely love. And that's why I love those interviews, because I think it's so important to learn from people. They overcame challenges, and you are, a business owner that is growing, and you want to do more and you want to do better. You're coming up with ideas. You're trying to work on your business, not just in your business and be flat out and busy. And that's what I love, because I think that's when the great things growing. That's, when that innovations for community, for everyone, actually, they're coming from people like you. And I think that's just great. And that's why I said, come to Fremantle. Often in Fremantle, there will be awesome addition there. But I think it's great. And I believe that the next for you is to open up that studio or find a place for your studio. Okay.
And I think, just going back to what you said as well, is the people who really make the business are my staff, and I think you mentioned it as well, when you come in, that the staff are always really welcoming and loving, and they are. I'm incredibly lucky to have recruited a team who what really connects them to the business is that we all share the same values. We all want to make a difference to people. We all, our highest value is love and integrity. Our values. And they are really the biggest part. And where I see the business growing is I offering my staff the opportunity to move into partnerships now. So we have people stepping up into leadership roles, going, okay, well, this is where I want to open my studio, and this is where I want to move my studio. So it's really the opportunity for expansion is it's huge. Also because I was always quite worried about franchising, and if I would franchise, would we lose the quality of the service? And and dilute it. And I'm just not worried about that with the team that I have, because I know that they will give my clients the same experience as I would.
And I believe that that is most important part, that actually people, like, you're an amazing leader. That will be probably first what I said, because I wish that every leader is approaching the business and team from your way of view, like how you are seeing that and how you see that importance. Like, your people are important. Your people are most important part of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I always said, because people don't think that leadership is so important, still there is a big gap. And when you go to companies, probably you experience that, they have all amazing values, but only thing they do is actually having a meeting on Monday or Friday, and they talk about values, but they don't live them. They don't show them. They don't embody them. They are not there. Like, you can't see any values being alive. That means it's just that talking about that. And a lot of people think that's enough. And that's why I love when you said that's definitely what was happening, always what I experienced in your studio. Like, I felt like people really care about me, like I'm there, they want to help me and they want me to feel good. And it was your staff, it was you, it was your husband. Always when I came there was really nice. And I wish everybody has that customer service, because that's what I did with my team in Europe when I was working for an American company as a coach. And it was just about that. It was just about that resilience, problem solving, being loving and caring, and always try to help.
Yeah.
And everybody was happy. And we increased the customer satisfaction. It was amazing. It was mind blowing. And it's just because of people. And
definitely,
that's just so important.
And it's what sets you aside from the crowd, like it's what makes us different from any other EMS or fitness business, actually, is the service delivery and how important we find it to have it at such a high level, and that every person who walks through our doors feels the love, like we're giving them, not a physical hug, but they're literally feeling that, when they walk through, and that we do care.
And I think that's, sorry.
No, because we really do.
Yeah. And I think that's important. And I believe that's exactly what you said. It's sometimes people say, I don't want to open business because it's the same business, around the corner. But when you have different service and delivery, when you have different people, because it's all about how we feel in somewhere, like when we walk into something, like when you're in the shop, you can be in 3 different Bunnings, example, and you will just go next time to the one when actually people took care of you. Yeah, you just never walk in somewhere where you have bad experience. That means it's always about people. It doesn't matter what product you sell.
No, that's it. And what really just is like living proof of that, we have lots and lots of clients who live right next door to one of our competitors, but they travel 45 minutes to come and train with us, or all the way from Mandurah, or quite a few people from down in Rockingham who travel up to train with us for 20 minutes. Like, it's, it says a lot about a business, right?
Yeah. And also because it's 20 minutes and you don't need to do it every day, it's great. Like, it's definitely worth it to travel when you do it 2-3 times a week. It's not, that big chunk of the time. And instead of being in gym, well, you're spending some time in the car, but it's okay. You can do phone calls.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Imogen, thank you very much for being here. And do you have anything what you would like to say at the end, and also where we can find you? Any kind of advice or invitation?
Yeah. Oh, look, I would, everybody is welcome down in our studio. And I think, if you are feeling stuck, or, you don't have a fitness level, or you've never stepped foot into a gym before, or, you do have those, I guess we call it gym anxiety, right? Then please reach out to us, because there is a solution for everybody. And our team would love to have you down and just make you feel as comfortable as possible, and just help kickstart your fitness, because a lot of people use 20Fit for that reason in particular. And what I love most is when people start coming in regularly and start to build up their strength, and they build up their confidence, and then they do get that confidence to actually go and do more, because they feel stronger, they feel fitter. And so if that's you, then please reach out to us. We do a 2-session trial. just to really come down and try it and actually see if you like it. There's no strings attached. And you can find that on our website, which is www.20fit.com.au, and that's 20fit.com.au.
That was important part. Yeah, because I was looking for 20 feet. It was something else somewhere in America. I was like, that's not you.
Nope.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And I really value like all your wisdom and experience. It was beautiful. Thanks.
Amazing. You've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Alex.
See you next time.
Bye.